Hello and welcome to Module 5, the biggest challenges tobacco users face. Here we'll be talking about some of the challenges that tobacco users face in the quitting process. This is part of the nicotine cessation program, and I'm Dr. Nicholas Pennings. Change. There's some myths about behavior and change. Some of the myths include that information and knowledge drive behavior change. That this is not true, that many patients often know plenty about why they should quit smoking, and they know plenty about the harms that quit smoking, and that does not cause them to change their behavior. Also, that changing attitudes drive behavior change. And what we really find is that changing behavior changes attitudes. An example I like to use for this is that someone who decides to quit smoking does not become an avid supporter of smoking cessation. We often find the quote-unquote reformed smoker, someone who quit smoking, as being very adamant about the importance of quitting smoking, very diligent and determined in their discussions of quitting smoking. But they didn't start out that way. That attitude came about because they first quit smoking, realized that they could quit smoking, found out how much better they felt and how important it was for their health to quit smoking, and that increased their passion about quitting smoking. So it wasn't the attitude that changed the behavior, it was the behavior that changed the attitude. We also find that guilt does not change behavior. Shame, fear, these are not lasting motivations. They may be temporary motivations, but they're not lasting motivations. Change process is slow. Change is very difficult. It takes time for people to make a lifestyle change. And it's not unidirectional, meaning once somebody decides to quit smoking, it doesn't mean that that's it. They are going to never use cigarettes or any other form of tobacco again. It's usually a back and forth situation before they quit and afterwards. And change needs to be self-directed. It needs to be the individual that is driving the change, not the physician or pharmacist or any other support person. It is the individual themselves. Some of the challenges that smokers face, one of the biggest one are triggers, and there are multiple triggers throughout the day. It starts at the beginning of the day, waking up. That is often a trigger for people to light up a cigarette. Coffee is a common trigger. Meals are common triggers, particularly after a meal. Driving is often associated with smoking, as well as a way of managing stress. Alcohol use is associated with smoking, and at the end of the day, perceived as a reward, a day's hard work is a common time to use cigarette. This is just some of many triggers that smokers face throughout the day. And one of the way of dealing with cravings there is recognizing what am I feeling, and there's an acronym HALT. HALT stands for H for hungry, A for angry, L for lonely, and T for tired. So these are different reasons why somebody might be having a craving and an urge to smoke, and something to have them think about why is it that they're feeling the way they are. So if they're hungry, have them drink a glass of water, because actually thirst is often confused with hunger. So just drinking some water can make them feel better. Having a healthy snack, and healthy snacks are important options to have available to the person who's quitting smoking. So carrot sticks, celery can be healthy snack options, frozen grapes, or sliced apple with cinnamon. These are healthy choices for people to use that can help reduce that hunger and not provide a lot of unhealthy calories. Anger is another common trigger. And so recognizing anger, and anger is going to be more likely already with the irritability associated with the physical withdrawal that's occurring. So that anger usually comes about much more quickly. And that combined with the fact that when someone is angry, that they often will light up a cigarette as a way of coping or dealing with that anger, and they've lost that coping mechanism. So their ability to deal with anger is also impaired because of the withdrawal process and the absence of the cigarette as their support system. So identifying a source of support and utilizing it becomes very important. planning ahead. What are you going to do when you're angry or upset? What are your alternative strategies for dealing with stressful situations? It's important to have those in place. And one of the techniques of dealing with this is something called delay versus denial. So when someone has an urge to smoke, if they say to themselves, no, I can't have a cigarette, I can't smoke at all, that often enhances the frustration, the feeling like they are denying themselves something that they've enjoyed for so many years, or in many ways want to have or feel that they should have. Delay can be an effective way of dealing with this. So instead of saying I can't have a cigarette, saying instead, let me wait 15 minutes and see how I feel. By waiting 15 minutes, especially if they get busy doing something else, the urge to smoke will often pass. Whatever it is that's angering them hopefully will subside, and whatever is creating that strong urge will subside so that they won't have such a strong urge at that point. If they still have an urge after 15 minutes, have them wait another 15 minutes. But waiting 15 minutes is a lot easier to accept than not being able to have one at all. Lonely, boredom is a trigger for smoking, and the key here is to keep busy. Exercise regularly, find different activities or hobbies that'll keep your hands busy, your mind busy, and avoid that bored urge to smoke cigarettes. Also remember that for many cigarettes, for many smokers or other tobacco users, they utilize tobacco as their best friend, as their support system, and sometimes feel depressed of feeling like they've lost their best friend when they give up their tobacco source. Tired is another trigger. Fatigue triggers the urge to smoke or use tobacco, and fatigue weakens the ability to resist urges. Adequate sleep is essential when quitting smoking, so ideally you want to make sure that somebody's getting at least 7 and up to 9 hours of sleep a day. That's important for the quitting process. Social threats pose challenges. Friends who smoke, family members who smoke, being at parties where people are smoking, or in bars where smokers are commonly found. These all pose social threats, and we want to find social support rather than social threats. And being wary of the saboteurs. Friends, family, coworkers, making comments like one cigarette won't make a difference, and smoking isn't that bad for you. They try to coax you back into that smoking process. That's very important for smokers and tobacco users to avoid, because it's going to lead them very quickly back to reusing. So in summary, smokers face a number of challenges to smoke or to use other forms of tobacco. Triggers can create powerful urges. HALT can be useful as a tool to recognize the cause of an urge and be able to deal with it. And as a support coach, you want to help patients find social support and avoid social threats. Thank you.